the main skills in this chapter is to learn how to do unit conversions. And we're going to focus in this chapter on doing unit conversions of non-chemistry problems to help us understand the skill before we start building on it with chemical information. And so this first problem asks us to think about wiring stereo equipment. And we're going to need 325 centimeters of speaker wire, and it sells for 15 cents per foot. And so we'd like to know what's the price of wire that we need to have. So some of these easier problems might be something that you could easily do in your head. But one of the things I'd like to highlight is it's very important when you do problems that you show your work, because I cannot give full credit for a quiz or an exam question if there's no work that's present. And beyond that, if the problem is wrong and I'm going to be giving partial credit, I can't give any partial credit if there's not any work there. And so it's important to kind of have a consistent and uniform mechanism for kind of working through these problems. So I'm always going to use the same method and kind of is a way to think about these problems. I frequently will start by saying, what is the information that we know? And then where do we want to go? And what this really means is we're changing units on information that's given to us, and we're changing it into units of what's asked of us. So as just sort of an example here, what is the price of wire, right? So price is where we want to go. And so it's asking us to think about dollars. So we want to have dollars as our final unit in our answer. When we think about information that's given to us to start with, well, there's a couple pieces of information that's given to us. We know that 325 centimeters of wire is required, and we know the cost of that in terms of dollars per feet. So that's two pieces of information. We know that we have 325 centimeters, and we know that it costs 15 cents per foot. Now there's some other pieces of information here that would be given to you. Some of these English to metric conversions, for example, 1 inch being equal to 2.54 centimeters, that's a piece of information that would be given to you. Piece of information that I would expect you to know is kind of this information that's over on the right here. I would expect you to know that there are 12 inches in 1 foot. So that's one of those that I would expect you to know. But again, that centimeter to inch conversion is something that would be provided for you. I'm going to first set up this problem as 3 individual simple unit conversion problems. And some people might be used to thinking about these problems in terms of proportions. And while you can solve these initial problems that way, I want to encourage you to get to the second way that I'll show with this problem, which is really going to be more useful once we start stringing together multiple unit conversions. But again, 325 centimeters. If we wanted to convert that centimeters into inches, I could use the relationship that 1 inch is equal to 2.54 centimeters. And just to highlight here, when we have problems like this, any unit that's in the numerator can cancel out with a unit in the denominator. So that lets me know how I want to use this inch to centimeter conversion factor. I don't want to have inches on the bottom and centimeters on the top, because then my units wouldn't cancel. It's also very important that you put the right number with the right unit. That is, the 1 goes with the inches and the 2.54 centimeters, and the 2.54 goes with the centimeters. So we have to make sure that that information, that value stays with the right unit for that unit conversion. Going through and finishing out kind of the rest of the steps here, we'd say then that 128 inches, we can convert that to feet by using 12 inches in 1 foot. Again, that's 10.7 feet. And then 10.7 feet times $0.15 per foot allows us to realize that it's going to cost $1.60 to purchase the speaker wire for that equipment. So what I'd like to show you is how we could string all of these together. And if you need to early on as you're learning how to do this, keep these all separate, that's totally fine. But this starts to become problematic if you end up writing things kind of multiple times because you're writing these steps individually. So I want to encourage you to begin thinking about doing combinations here. And so this combination is going to work like this. Start with a piece of information that you know, 325 centimeters. Now I want centimeters to go away, and so I ask myself, do I have a unit conversion that allows me to walk towards my answer? Well, if I convert centimeters to inches, 2.54 centimeters in 1 inch, I am walking closer to my answer because now I can use 12 inches in 1 feet, and then I can take 1 foot as a cost of 15 cents per foot, and in the same way get to my $1.60 answer. So stringing these all together like this, we can see that we started with units of centimeters, we got centimeters to cancel, and we walked to inches. Then we canceled inches and walked to feet. And then finally we canceled feet and walked to dollars. And so this is what you want to think about as you do these unit conversion problems, is start with a unit that you know and try to find single stepping stones that change that unit into something else that moves you towards the final unit that you want to have, which in this case was dollars.